I'm back, guys. Yeah, apologize for that split in the video. As you probably heard, someone was banging on the door. But yeah, as I was trying to say, Garrus is sort of one of those characters that yeah, for one reason or another, I've sort of grown attached to that guy. And if you actually died in the Mass Effect 3, I'm gonna probably be very upset. You know, I will probably end up crying. And it's that sort of emotional investment that actually makes you give a damn about the characters, which really does make me want to play video games nowadays, because the market is so saturated, the music industry is so saturated. But when these sort of little gems come out now and then, where it's something a little bit special, something a little bit different, the storyline is actually been paid attention to, the continuation of 1 to 3, where your choices have carried over. I'm not sure if any sort of trilogy has ever done that in terms of video games before, but it's a very smart idea, and it's what has kept me coming back in Mass Effect 2 and in Mass Effect 3. So definitely I'm going to be paying special attention to Garrus during Mass Effect 3, making sure that he doesn't die, or as far as I can control it, and trying to have a happy ending. But of course, if he does end up dying, it'll add to the drama and sort of emotional sort of impact of the game, which will sort of be good in a sort of bad way anyway, if that sort of makes sense. But nevertheless, Mass Effect 3, it's coming out in Australia here in 2 days. So now it's 6:53 p.m. on the 6th of March, so in 2 days. And sometimes the retailers here break the street dates as they do some other places. A couple of promotional copies have been sent around. I've seen these game websites of get their copies early or whatever, but they don't get the download content early, which is sort of another sort of aspect to it. But nevertheless, I'll be definitely picking up the game, and once I turn it on, like after stop playing Skyrim and start playing Mass Effect 3, and I'll definitely be along for the ride. I'm going to avoid spoilers as much as I can, because that would ruin the experience for me. But I have heard people saying, and this is not a spoiler at all, people were saying that it's sort of like a masterpiece, and that's a term that no one should really throw around lightly. But that's only one sort of a perspective I heard. But if it's as engaging as that, I'm definitely going to be interested to hear why that particular user on this forum said that. The trailer was pretty good. Sorry, the demo was pretty good. In all the trailers, they're showing this sort of innocence of children sort of playing with toys or whatever. Then boom, like these Reapers, like you got. Even though like the kids are sort of a little bit jarring, because it seems like almost like their product placement or like some weird advertisement or something like that. The kids don't seem really that natural, but I do understand why they're putting it in there. They're sort of like, this is Earth. The kids, they're still growing up, they're still trying to survive, they need to be looked after. They're sort of got nice pretty faces, blonde hair, blue eyes or whatever. They're completely innocent, oblivious, or not really understanding the danger of what's going on here. Then out of nowhere, boom, like this huge like claw comes down in like one of the trailers, like in a sunflower flower bed or whatever, and then boom, just like lands. And then later on you see Shepard and his team come up, and like they've got a they just pick up the ship, which is like the toy which was there, and sort of that presupposes that this girl has been taken by the Reapers or whatever. So if that sort of emotion gets played into play, from what I've seen in the demo, that they're using the piano soundtrack in a very sort of key emotional way, which I like. I do like it when you got like silence and you've got like just the piano sort of playing like in the rhythmic tone of like like slow rhythm, like dun 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 dun, and then you sort of like I'm not a musician, but you understand where I'm going with this, right? Like you got the piano playing, and they sort of got the notes sort of like going with pauses in between, sort of to build up the sort of sadness to it. I think that's fantastic. I do sort of like the way the environments sort of seem to crumble away, and sort of seems like everything could happen at any time, sort of like Uncharted 3, where you're playing it and like you're running on something, and then you could just give way, and you sort of got to react to that straight away. I do like how they showed like Shepard like can jump up through over gaps and stuff like that, also adding to the organicness of the environment as much as it can. And yeah, what else can I say? But I'll definitely be looking forward to playing Mass Effect 3. the continuation of Mass Effect, the Mass Effect storylines in terms of what your decisions were in the previous games was a genius idea, and they definitely should do more of that for continuing trilogies or new trilogies. That would be fantastic. And especially because we all built our character slightly differently. My Commander Shepard, he's got like sort of shortcut hair like this, which is why I recently got a haircut, because I'm a little bit obsessed. He's got sort of like facial hair like a goatee like that. He's got green eyes, and his head sort of looks weird. So whatever, I mean, he's not like the Brad Pitt of the saving the space universe or whatever. But nevertheless, we've all got our own characters sort of in there if we are continuing the storyline. So when we see that face, it's like, you know what? We've actually had this face since Mass Effect 1, and we've seen him in Mass Effect 2. Naturally, when we see the same face that we've created, if we are continuing it, in Mass Effect 3, that we've seen in Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 1, once again, like, you've got the investment factor playing in your favor. You're actually going to care about these characters as if they're sort of real-life characters, which is fantastic. The members of the team that you play in the game are fantastic. Like, the voice acting is great. I like how it's sort of an analogy for different races and cultures. That is fantastic. That's why I keep on coming on this discussion on the forum sometimes. Like, Mass Effect would make a great television show, and it really would. I don't think it would be a great movie because there's too much depth which would need to be conveyed, and you would be spoiled at by trying to shove it into a movie. But as a TV series, I wouldn't take that far. Maybe Season 1 Mass Effect 1, Season 2 Mass Effect 2, Season 3 Mass Effect 3, say 15 episodes per season or whatever. Have the Commander Shepard storyline built up, and you have the emotional investment carry over. It could be a fantastic TV show. And especially what I really like about it is the science aspect to it. You see those photos sometimes where this is Earth, and they show like a tiny little Earth, and then it shows this is how this is Earth in comparison to like this planet, which is like whatever millions of light years away, and then it has like a even bigger planet. Then it shows Earth even more smaller. Then it has like eventually like this huge planet, and then it has like a little dot, and it goes, that is Earth right down there. And also in a similar way, you see those photos like that NASA took of like just a huge sort of black space, and like all these sort of like it's almost like it's fake or something, but it's real. Like all these little, unless it is fake, hopefully it's not fake. These little galaxies everywhere, and it's like just imagine like the Milky Way is part of this, which is only a small part of the whole universe or whatever. It really is like a humbling sort of thing. And when you're in your spaceship in Mass Effect 3, and you're sort of going between all the galaxies, and you sort of realize sort of how small we really are in the grand scheme of things, and you've got that really fantastic sort of haunting music, sort of almost like hypnotic in a trance, going dun, 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 in the background there, and you're flying from place to place. And I really love it how they sort of given like a history of each of these planets. And I know like it would be too much for them to sort of have each of these planets landable on, but nevertheless they've counteracted that factor by actually giving like a really good description of each of these planets. They've given like a history of it. They've given like the density of the planet, naturally occurring elements, sort of how many moons it has, the year that it actually has in Earth years that it takes to actually rotate or whatever. All that sort of thing is fantastic. And actually, even though like it's not landable on, at least when I'm reading the text, I'm getting like pictures in my head of like, okay, this is actually what happened. And what can I say? It's one of those games that when you play it and you sort of get into the world and you read all the codex of all the different races, and it's almost like you're reading like a novel. It reminds me of Game of Thrones, right? You got all these characters, and you're just scratching the surface, and then you can get into as much detail as you want to. It's all there. It's all coming from these wonderful creative guys. They're put into a video game, and it's for us to play. It's for us to enjoy, and it's us to make a memorable experience out there, considering it's the end of the trilogy, and who knows what they're going to pull out, in terms of the final game. And I really hope they sort of they realize it's the end of a trilogy. They realize they've got a lot to live up for. They realize they're always trying to improve on their last game, and I really hope they make this game as fantastic as the experience has been for Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 3, purely because I'm sad to see it go, and I'd love to sort of say, you know what, it was really a fantastic experience. Mass Effect 1 was great, 2 was even better, but damn, Mass Effect 3 really knocked the ball out of the park, and it'll be sort of an experience I'll remember forever. And it's one of those storytelling things that, you know, there's something about video games that when you play them and you get sucked into them a little bit, and you enjoy all your characters, you remember all the stuff you've done in the past and the repercussions that you've had, it's really going to make a special experience. And I hope that you know, all of us as gamers get what we're after from it, because it takes time and money to make these games, and these guys have obviously put a lot of effort into it. And I hope that we sort of appreciate and enjoy the story for what it is, and of course have fun. So that's all pretty much what I have to say about the series, without getting into too much detail of the storyline or whatever. But yeah, suffice to say, if you haven't played the series, it'll be sort of hard to catch up now, because you're going to be scrambling for Mass Effect 1 and 2 and then playing Mass Effect 3. But I'm sure most of us have played these two games and anticipating Mass Effect 3. And I'd love to see how the story ends, and I'll sort of play it slowly, knowing that it's going to end soon, but nevertheless I'll be very sad when the end titles roll. Okay guys, Mass Effect 3, I'm very excited for it, but I sort of forgot it is coming out soon, but I'm sure it'll be great when I play it. Okay guys, take care.